welcome back to our channel on this incredibly heavy and emotional Tuesday. We have so much to unpack today, so let's just take a deep breath and dive right into the heart of Genoa City's darkest and most terrifying hour. It's almost too much to even process right now. Watching the events unfold in Las Vegas, we've all seen the Newman family go through unimaginable tragedies over the years, but this feels entirely different. It feels so raw, so incredibly visceral. Like watching a nightmare slowly bleed into reality. When we think about Nick Newman, we usually picture a man who, despite his flaws, tries to be the solid ground for his family. But right now, that ground has completely crumbled. He is completely lost in a terrifying, suffocating haze of prescription narcotics. His mind is just a fractured mirror, reflecting nothing but panic and distorted reality. You have to imagine the sheer terror of that car ride leading up to this moment. Adam trapped in the passenger seat, screaming at his brother to slow down, to just think for a second. But Nick can't think. His brain is just flooded with chemicals and adrenaline. A terrifying cocktail that makes him completely unpredictable. The Nevada desert must have been flying by in a blur of sand and shadows. And all Nick could see in his mind's eye was Matt Clark. Matt Clark. Just saying that name sends shivers down your spine, doesn't it? The history there. The profound, lingering trauma that Matt inflicted on Sharon all those years ago. It's a ghost that has never truly stopped haunting them. And now, that ghost is flesh and blood again. When Nick and Adam finally arrive at that desolate, rusted-out abandoned gas station, the atmosphere is just suffocating. You can almost smell the dust, the old motor oil, the sheer decay of the place. It's the perfect setting for a monster like Matt. He didn't just want to kill his enemies. No, Matt wants to break them. He wants to tear their souls apart piece by piece. And as Nick stumbles into that dimly lit warehouse area, half delirious from the pills, what he sees, I don't even know how a human mind processes a sight like that. It's a pulley system, a massive, crude, industrial pulley system suspended from the rusted steel beams of the ceiling. And the sheer, terrifying physics of it just makes your stomach drop. On one end of the thick, abrasive rope is Sharon, the love of Nick's life, the mother of his children, a woman who has already survived so much abuse at the hands of this exact monster. She's tied up, suspended, her eyes wide with a terror that goes so deep it transcends words. You look at her face, and you can see the years of trauma just rushing back to the surface. And on the other end of the pulley, balancing the horrific scale of this nightmare, is Noah, their son. Their innocent, fiercely loyal boy who only came to Vegas because he thought he was helping his father. He's bound just as tightly, his weight acting as the counterweight to his own mother. It's a seesaw of death, a mechanical manifestation of pure, unadulterated evil. If one side drops, the other goes up, but it's so much worse than just a physical trap. It's a psychological torture device designed by a man who understands exactly what makes Nick Newman tick. And there he is, Matt Clark, standing in the shadows, stepping into the flickering light with this sickeningly calm smile on his face. It's the smile of a man who knows he has already won. He isn't holding a gun, he's holding a detonator, a bomb. And right next to him is a massive, old, pressurized gas tank, hissing ever so slightly. A sound that just burrows into your ears like a ticking clock ticking down to the end of the world. Matt has all the cards. He has the bomb, he has the hostages, and he has Nick right where he wants him, completely broken. Nick is he's unraveling right before our eyes. You can see the sweat pouring down his face, his hands shaking violently. Not just from the fear, but from the withdrawal, the absolute chaos happening in his bloodstream. He's half-conscious, his vision probably blurring, trying to make sense of the ropes, the pulleys, the bomb. Trying to find a mathematical equation that will let him save both of them, but Matt is a sadist. He doesn't offer a way out. He offers a choice so unnatural, so deeply repulsive, that it defies human nature. You can only say one, Matt says, and those words just hang in the stagnant air of that warehouse like a death sentence. You can only say one before the gas tank explodes. It's Sophie's choice, but orchestrated by a psychopath who wants to watch the chooser bleed out from the inside. How do you choose? How does a man look at the woman who holds half his soul, and then look at the son who holds the other half, and decide who gets to live? It's not just impossible. It's a violation of everything it means to be a father, to be a partner, to be a man. Nick is screaming, just this raw, guttural sound of pure agony that tears at your heart. He's begging, he's pleading with Matt to take him instead. Take me, let them go. It's the universal cry of a parent, isn't it? But Matt just laughs, that cold, hollow laugh. Matt doesn't want Nick dead. Death is too easy. Death is an escape. Matt wants Nick to live. He wants Nick to wake up every single morning for the rest of his life, pour a cup of coffee, and look in the mirror knowing that he actively chose to let one of his family members burn. It's a spiritual trap, a labyrinth of guilt that has no exit. And while all this horrific psychological warfare is happening, you almost forget about Adam, who has been standing in the shadows, watching his brother completely disintegrate. Adam and Nick have had such a complicated, bitter rivalry over the decades. They fought, they betrayed each other, they wished the worst upon one another, but in this moment, none of that matters. Blood is blood. Adam sees the pulley, he sees the bomb, he sees his brother falling to his knees in the dirt, and Adam makes a decision. A heroic, desperate, incredibly reckless decision. You can almost see the gears turning in Adam's head. He knows Nick is paralyzed by the drugs and the trauma. He knows Matt is entirely focused on torturing Nick, so Adam tries to intervene. He slips through the shadows, trying to flank Matt, trying to get to the detonator, or maybe trying to jam the pulley system. We don't even know exactly what his plan is, because it's just pure instinct. He lunges. Trying to be the savior, trying to rewrite the narrative of the selfish, dark Newman brother. But Matt is paranoid. He's a predator who has been planning this for years. He has eyes in the back of his head. Just as Adam closes the distance, Matt pivots. The movement is so fast, so incredibly violent. And then, bang, the gunshot just shatters the air. It's so loud it physically makes you jump. The sound bounces off the corrugated metal walls of the warehouse, ringing in your ears, drowning out Nick's screams, drowning out the hissing of the gas tank. Adam stops dead in his tracks. The look of absolute shock on his face, it just breaks you. He looks down, and the blood is already blooming across his shirt. This dark, terrifying crimson stain spreading so fast. He was trying to do the right thing. For once, he was putting everything on the line to save Nick's family, and he pays the ultimate price. Adam collapses, hitting the concrete floor with a heavy, sickening thud. He's severely injured, gasping for air, clutching his wound. And suddenly, the only hope they had of overpowering Matt is bleeding out on the floor. Nick's reaction. Oh my god, Nick's reaction is something I don't think any of us will ever forget. He watches his brother getting down, and the last shred of his sanity just snaps. He falls to his hands and knees, the drugs making his movements uncoordinated, clumsy. He's crying. He's hyperventilating. He looks at Adam, bleeding out. He looks at Sharon, crying out for him. He looks at Noah, struggling against the ropes. And he looks at Matt, who is just standing there, the gun still smoking in one hand, the detonator in the other. That was stupid, Matt sneers, looking down at Adam, and then he turns his attention right back to Nick. Matt isn't distracted. He isn't derailed. If anything, shooting Adam has just heightened his euphoric sense of power. He looks at Nick, who is completely broken on the floor, and he delivers the final, crushing blow. The clock is ticking. Nick, the gas is leaking. You have to choose. Who drops? Who burns? The cruelty is so absolute, it feels suffocating just to think about it. Let's just pause and think about the sheer malice of Matt's plan. He didn't just string them up, he connected them. If Nick cuts Sharon down, Noah falls into the blast radius. If Nick cuts Noah down, Sharon falls. It's a zero-sum game where the currency is human life. Matt is forcing Nick to be the executioner of his own family. He wants Nick's fingerprints on the murder weapon. He wants Nick to know that the final action that ended the life of his loved one was his own. And the psychological warfare, it's just staggering. Matt looks at Nick, looking at this broken, drug-addled man, and he says it plain as day. Death isn't scary. Nick, living with the guilt forever, that's what's going to destroy you. Matt is gloating. He is reveling in the fact that he has constructed an inescapable prison for Nick's soul, even if Matt dies today. Even if the building comes down on all of them, Matt wins. Because if Nick survives, he survives as a hollow shell of a human being, consumed by a remorse so deep it will eventually drive him to madness. And what about Sharon? You look up at Sharon, dangling from that rope. And she's doing the most heartbreaking thing a mother can do. She is looking down at Nick, and through her tears, through her absolute terror, she is begging him. Save him. Nick, save Noah, let me go. She is actively trying to make the choice for him. She is offering up her own life to spare her son. It's the ultimate act of maternal sacrifice. But it just makes it so much harder for Nick. How can he let her die? How can he watch the woman he has loved since they were teenagers just perish? But then you look at Noah, who is terrified, his wrists bleeding from the ropes. But he's a Newman. He has that stubborn, fierce loyalty. He's looking at his dad, and he's yelling, "No, save Mom! Dad, please, save Mom!" It's a chorus of selflessness from the victims, which only amplifies the sheer, agonizing cruelty of the situation. They love each other so much that they are willing to die for one another. And Nick has to stand in the middle of that love and swing the axe. It makes you wonder, how did we even get here? How did this family, with all their wealth, all their power, all their security, end up at the mercy of a ghost in a rusted-out gas station in Nevada? It speaks to the insidious nature of unresolved trauma. Victor Newman can buy corporations. He can hire armies of security. But he couldn't protect his son from the ghosts of the past. Matt Clark represents everything the Newmans couldn't bury with their money. He represents the raw, ugly consequences of their history. And Nick, poor, broken Nick, the pills in his system are probably making the room spin. He's hallucinating, perhaps seeing multiple versions of the pulley, hearing voices that aren't there. The drugs were supposed to numb his physical pain, but instead, they have stripped him of his ability to focus, to fight, to strategize. He is a blunt instrument in a situation that requires surgical precision. He's staring at his hands. The hands that have built businesses, the hands that have held his children when they were born. And he knows these hands are about to commit an unforgivable sin. The hissing of the gas tank is getting louder. It's not just a background noise anymore, it's the dominant sound in the room. It's hissing, spitting, a volatile cloud of vapor building up around them. One spark, just one tiny spark from that detonator, and the whole place goes up in a fireball. The heat, the pressure, it's going to be instantaneous. Nick knows he only has seconds. Seconds to weigh the value of a mother against the value of a son. Seconds to decide which piece of his heart he is willing to amputate without anesthesia. Adam is groaning on the floor. He's losing blood fast. His face is pale. His eyes are losing focus. He tried to be the hero. For all of Adam's faults, for all the terrible things he has done in his life, in this one defining moment, he tried to lay down his life for his brother's family, and it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. The tragedy of Adam's intervention is that it only proved Matt's invincibility in this scenario. It only solidified the absolute hopelessness of the situation. Matt is pacing now, enjoying the show. He's like a conductor leading a symphony of despair. He's watching Nick's eyes dart back and forth between Sharon and Noah. He's watching the tears cut paths through the dust and sweat on Nick's face. Matt is feeding on this energy. It's sustenance for him. He has waited years, decades perhaps, for this exact feeling of absolute dominance over the man who took everything from him. This is his masterpiece. A painting drawn with the blood and tears of the Newman family. I keep thinking about the aftermath. What happens tomorrow if Nick chooses Sharon? How does he ever look her in the eye again, knowing he sacrificed their son to keep her? Every time he looks at her, he will see Noah's ghost. And if he chooses Noah, how does he raise that boy, knowing he let his mother burn? Noah would never forgive him. Noah would carry the guilt of his own survival for the rest of his life. It's a poison that will infect generations. Matt's trap isn't just designed to kill one person today. It's designed to kill the entire family's capacity for love and happiness forever. It's a spiritual trap. That's the only way to describe it. It's not just ropes and gas and fire. It's a snare for the human soul. Matt wants Nick to step into that snare and pull it tight around his own neck. He wants Nick to surrender his morality, his sanity, his very identity as a protector. When Nick makes that choice because he has to make it, the gas is reaching critical mass. He will cease to be the Nick Newman we know. That man will die in this warehouse, regardless of whether he physically survives the blast. The tension is just unbearable. You find yourself holding your breath, gripping the edge of your seat, silently screaming at the screen for a miracle. For Victor to suddenly burst through the doors. For the police to arrive. For the bomb to malfunction. But this is Genoa City, and sometimes the miracles don't come. Sometimes the monsters win. Sometimes the hero is too high, too broken, too late, and the innocent people pay the price. Nick slowly forces himself to stand up. His legs are shaking so badly it looks like his bones have turned to water. He looks at Adam, who gives him this weak, imperceptible nod. A silent acknowledgement of the impossible burden Nick is carrying. Then Nick looks at Matt. There is no anger left in Nick's eyes. The anger has been burned away by the sheer magnitude of the terror. There is only a hollow, echoing void. He looks at the detonator in Matt's hand. He looks at the pulley. Make your choice. Nick, Matt whispers, his voice cutting through the hissing gas like a razor blade. Or I'll just push this button, and I won't even make you choose. I'll just take them both. The ultimatum, the final push. Nick raises his trembling hands. He looks up at Sharon. He looks at Noah. The tears are flowing freely now, silent sobs racking his chest. He opens his mouth to speak, to make the choice that will end his life as he knows it. And that is where we are left hanging, suspended in this agonizing limbo of grief and terror. It's a masterclass in psychological horror, delivered right to our living rooms. We are all trapped in that warehouse with Nick, feeling the weight of that eternal guilt pressing down on our own chests. We can only wait and pray and brace ourselves for the fallout. Because no matter who Nick chooses, the Newman family will never, ever be the same again.